I'm Lieutenant Mark Swanson, and welcome to the first edition of New Jersey Wing Spotlight, a show about Civil Air Patrol members in the news. In the news this week is Captain Dave Gaulin, U.S. Air Force and Civil Air Patrol member. Captain Gaulin recently transferred his CAP membership to Schweiger Composite Squadron in Cherry Hill. He came up through the ranks of the CAP Cadet program and is now posted with the U.S. Air Force as a C-17 pilot based at McGuire Air Force Base. Besides flying, he is also has an important function that will put him in the news very soon. Captain Gaulin, welcome to New Jersey Wing Spotlight.
Well, thank you, and thank you for having me.
It's a big honor for us, and just to have a real pilot here with us on the show.
Oh, thanks. It's good to be back involved with Civil Air Patrol, an organization that gave so much to me as a cadet, and an organization that I hope to give a lot to as a senior member and Air Force officer. Speaking
of CAP cadets, I understand you came up through the CAP cadet program. How far did you go?
I started in 1992 as an airman basic when I was 12 years old, and I made it all the way. I received my Spots Award in 1997.
All the way through the ranks?
Yes, all the way through the completion of the cadet program.
And how old were you?
I was 17.
What kinds of activities did you do in CAP?
Your standard cadet activities. I really enjoyed Civil Air Patrol. I got involved, obviously, in encampments, air shows, and then from there, national activities, Cadet Officer School, the Space Command Familiarization Course. I went to the International Cadet Air Exchange twice, actually, as a cadet, which is kind of rare, both to England and Sweden, so that was neat. So pretty much I tried to get involved in as many cadet activities as I could. Went on to participate in Air Force ROTC up at Syracuse University. I was there from the fall of 1992 until I graduated in May of 2002.
Did you have a lot of ROTC activities to do during college? Or?
Air Force ROTC is it's similar to Civil Air Patrol in many respects, as far as it's kind of a part-time thing. I wore the uniform once a week. Went to did my Air Force ROTC classes once a week. Other than that, I was pretty much a full-time normal college student, with the exception that Air Force ROTC paid a good part of my college education through scholarships, stipends, things like that. And then at the end of my time there, gave me a pilot slot and commissioned me as a second lieutenant.
How do you go about getting that pilot slot?
If you want to be a pilot, I've always told cadets, the thing you need to do is you need to have a college degree. How will you get that? You could go to the Air Force Academy. You could do Air Force ROTC like I did. If you have a college degree and you want to be an officer, you can also participate in officer training school, which in 90 days takes you from a college graduate to an Air Force officer.
Okay. Was it a lot of fun?
It was. It was a great time. I mean, to go to school, I got to study poli-sci and history. So two things I enjoyed. I got to participate in summer activities. Got to kind of really get into the nitty-gritty transition from being a CAP cadet to an ROTC cadet. Taking what I learned as a cadet, as far as those kind of basic things that you wouldn't think would be really important, like drill and wear the uniform, and you show up at an Air Force ROTC detachment as a freshman, and you're far and away ahead of your peers. It's almost too easy in some respects, and you, as a result, excel, get noticed, and go from there. So it was a blast. I really enjoyed my 4 years in college.
Because it seems to me that I'm sure for most cadets, the toughest concept to get over is how do they get from being a CAP cadet to getting in the pilot seat? So
sure. Oh yeah. I mean, like you said, for being a military pilot, the thing that you definitely need is a commission. You need to be a commissioned officer. In order to get that, you need to have a college degree and then participate in some kind of commissioning program. And really, from my respects, I graduated in the spring of 2002, and then went on to pilot training at Advanced Air Force Base, which is 52 weeks. The Air Force takes you from walking on the street to putting wings in your chest, and teaching you in two different aircraft, pretty much basics. You pretty much show up there knowing nothing about flying, and within a matter of 6 weeks, you're flying in my case, a two-engine jet solo in the area, doing acrobatics by yourself. So it's pretty amazing. But the Air Force will pay for everything that you do there, and it's great. It was interesting. My first encounter with the military aviation was when I went to my first encampment in 1993 in Rhode Island. and it was in the back seat of a C-130, and it was really neat up until the point we're about to land, and I got terribly airsick. And that some folks would kind of take that as a downer, and when I did, it's kind of upset thinking you want to be a pilot, but you get airsick. And this is something I actually struggled with even in pilot training, but it's one of those deals where you put your head down, you persevere. My stomach didn't quite agree with my career choice, but I wasn't going to let it win, and I just kind of pulled through it, and here I am.
Not unlike just working hard, to get to your spats.
Exactly, yeah. It was kind of one of those self-discipline things. I mean, studying is one thing, but flying when you're not feeling the best, it's just something you just have to get over with, and you just have the self-discipline to show up the next day with a smile on your face, ready to get ill the next day. But hey, as long as you keep on sticking with it, you'll eventually get over it.
And bring an airsick back.
Exactly, bring several.
Okay. What kind of planes have you trained in?
As a student pilot, I trained in the T-37, which is called a Tweet. The Air Force is replacing those now with the T-6 Texan II, which is a single-engine turboprop aircraft. Then from there, being a airlift pilot, I trained in what's called a T-18 Jayhawk, which is essentially a Beechcraft jet that the Air Force bought off the shelf, and it looks like a small business jet, and that's what all the folks who are going to be flying tanker and transport aircraft flow into for their secondary training. From there, got selected to go fly C-17s, and then have trained in the C-17s in Altus, Oklahoma, as a co-pilot, as a co-pilot airdropper, a aircraft commander, and finally as an instructor in C-17. So 3 aircraft, 3 Air Force aircraft at least.
Do you like flying the C-17?
I do. It's great. It's one of those things where the folks say, join the Navy and see the world. Well, this is a quicker way to see the world. You get there a whole lot faster. You don't have to live aboard ships. Back to the whole, seasick, airsick kind of thing. But yeah, I've been around the world a couple of times. Been to several countries in support of operations in Iraq and Afghanistan. Been flying the president's vans and limos around the world as well. I've flown everything from an M1 Abrams tank to the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders during a USO tour. So it's pretty varied, and you get to see a lot of different people in a lot of different places.
Because I understand you just got back from Europe also.
Yes, we at McGuire, we support aviation operations around the world. As far as our biggest focus being the activities in Afghanistan and Iraq, obviously C-17s fly in personnel and equipment, and fly out personnel and equipment, wounded troops as well to Ramstein, to the medical facilities there. So we're always on the move there in the 6th Airlift Squadron.
That's fantastic.
It is. I really, it's a pretty fulfilling job.
Speaking of back home, I know you have a really important mission right now that doesn't involve flying.
Yes, right now we're all getting ready for the Air Expo at McGuire Air Force Base here on the end of May 31st, June 1st. It's going to be a pretty large activity. We're expecting about 300,000 people to attend, and I'm just arranging the support for the military demonstration teams there. So the Thunderbirds, for instance, are our biggest headliners, as well as our single ship teams, the F-15E Strike Eagle, the F-16, and also the Navy's FA-18. Those teams will be coming up there, and I'm just playing a part of helping those guys out and letting them do their thing in wild crowds and do what they do.
What kinds of stuff are you doing for them?
It's just varied. I mean, the air shows are kind of one of those events that takes a year to prepare for each one. So it's everything from food and lodging, the vehicles, to fuel, to maintenance equipment. It's kind of just gathering it all together so they have the ingredients that they need to make their show work.
Okay.
So it's pretty fulfilling just to be able to help them get in town, give them everything they need, and they do awesome things.
There'll be 300,000 and 300 CAP people too.
Yes, CAP. I've been participating in air shows since I was a CAP member back around 1992, and it's really neat. It's hard work, but it's really fulfilling to know that you played an important role in making that show happen. Whether it's doing security to even down to picking up trash, making sure you don't flat out engines because those are pretty costly. To meeting the pilots that are walking the flight line. It's really neat to get that backstage pass to seeing how that air show goes.
Okay, well, I think that's about all the time we have for this edition of Wing Spotlight. Captain Gaulin, thanks for being on the show.
Thank you.
Thanks for all you do in CAP and absolutely for everything you do in the Air Force.
Thank you.
If you know of a New Jersey Wing member in the news or a model for others in the organization, contact Public Affairs at pa@njwg.cap.gov. This has been New Jersey Wing Spotlight. For New Jersey Wing, I'm Lieutenant Mark Swanson. Thanks for watching. Thanks a lot.